flashing, tires screaming that southern heat. 200 strong on the NASCAR beat. Lap 5 wreck on turn 4. Smoke so thick can't see the door. But somehow I slip right through like a ghost in red, white, and blue. 'Cause I thread the needle, dodge the flame. Every pileup calling my name. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead. But I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight, praying hard through every fight. Got no wins, but I got pride. Made it through the other side. Yellow flags like warning signs, but I ain't falling for their lines. Got nerves of steel, a shaky hand. This ain't a game, it's fight or land. Saw that 18 catch the wall. 21 spun, took out them all. But somehow I found the lane, like Moses through that fire and rain. Yeah, I thread the needle, dodge the flame. Every pileup calling my name. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead. But I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight, praying hard through every fight. Got no wins, but I got pride. Made it through the other side. No checkered flag, no champagne rain, but I kept it clean through the carnage and pain. One more lap, one more breath, a dance with danger, a race with death. Still I thread the needle, feel the flame. Every turn's a twist of fate's game. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead, but I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight, out of chaos into light. No first place, but man, I ride with fire still burning inside. Yeah, I thread the needle in this wild racing ride. Strapped in tight, green lights flashing, rubbers burning, hearts are clashing, tires screaming that southern heat. 200 strong on the NASCAR beat. Lap 5 wreck on turn 4. Smoke so thick can't see the door. But somehow I slip right through like a ghost in red, white, and blue. 'Cause I thread the needle, dodge the flame. Every pileup calling my name. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead. But I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight, praying hard through every fight. Got no wins, but I got pride. Made it through the other side. Yellow flags like warning signs, but I ain't falling for their lines. Got nerves of steel, a shaky hand. This ain't a game, it's fight or land. Saw that 18 catch the wall. 21 spun, took out them all. But somehow I found the lane, like Moses through that fire and rain. Yeah, I thread the needle, dodge the flame. Every pileup calling my name. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead. But I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding side.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome in to the Racers Elite Network, where tonight We're going to have some fun on Friday night. It's going to be a little bit chaotic. I'm going to be your host, Brandon Massey. Alongside me up in the booth is going to be Bryce, your typical broadcaster on Friday nights. Bryce, how we doing tonight, brother?
Man, I'm tired, but I'm here getting ready to listen to some weed eaters go around a track for 150 laps.
And weed eaters they are. So tonight, for the race fans at home, we're going to be hosting the Mazda MX-5 at Martinsville. And right now, these drivers are in their qualifying sessions. But I tell you, Bryce, when Andrew himself posted out that he was going to host this race, I don't know kind of your thoughts on it, but I think this can be a wild one.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was weird, but I think he had just posted the finish of the Mazda race last night, so I think that's kind of what gave him the idea. But it's going to be interesting because Mazdas aren't that high horsepower. I think we're going to see a lot of basically bumper cars with these cars here tonight.
Yeah, I think so too. I've seen a lot just sitting here in practice, and I know you had just logged in, but I've been watching these drivers in practice, and I'm looking at guys like Alan Carter, Mike Taylor, Jesse Fox. A lot of these guys are shifting. Now, the highest gear that I've seen these guys get in, at least by counting and watching them leave pit road, has been third. And I'm seeing a lot of downshifting into second, entering the corner. So that'll be something that we keep an eye on too as the night goes on. And then also, these cars have been somewhat extremely loose on the entry and center of both ends of the racetrack.
Yeah, I don't really drive these cars a lot, but I'm not surprised that they're shifting just because of how underpowered they are. They don't have a lot of power. That's why people like to drive them a lot, to be honest with you. You see a lot of them at road courses, but only thing I'd be worried about with, them downshifting is doing it a little bit too soon. It could spin these cars out. That's one thing that I suck at road courses. So shifting, don't do it too early, but you're definitely going to need it just to get that extra rotation, because if you try to stay in that higher gear, I do not think that, these cars will rotate worth anything at all. I think they'll be really struggling with that rotation.
Yeah, I don't disagree. In fact, right there, watching the 14 of Danny Jackson, and you can see just how quickly, for the race fans at home, you can loop a car around. I'm going to take a look at some race info for tonight. Tonight we are in Martinsville. It shows to be 67 degrees outside, relative humidity of about 76%, partly cloudy. Track temp's low though, Bryce, only 69 degrees for the track temperature.
Yeah, that's going to definitely help with tires, and they're going to really pick up a lot of speed though because of that. I would wonder if it gets a little bit warmer maybe as it goes on, but it is a night, so I think that they'll stay at that temp. So you'll have guys probably banging it off the limiter a lot of times here.
So tonight is going to be a wild and interesting show. Again, these drivers are finishing up their qualifying sessions right now. Mike Taylor sits atop the qualifying board with a speed of 22.5. Jesse Fox, if I'm looking at it correctly, matched that time at 22.5 on the dot.
It looks like he did. It looks like he'll probably be... It's probably going to a certain point that we just can't tell the time difference. That has happened before. I've had drivers that absolutely match their times. I don't know how iRacing decides that they could probably see more numbers than we can on that. Let's see what will it be? Yeah, 22.5. That's got to be closer than that.
Yeah, it's gonna be several numbers down. I mean, it could be in the numbers that we like you said, Bryce, we can't see, and even though exactly how many spots behind the decimal it's going to be, to be honest.
Yeah, but I honestly wouldn't worry about qualifying too much. I do think we're going to see a lot of, like I said, a lot of bumper cars. These guys are going to be using that front end. So qualifying up front may not be the best thing because it's a short track, but you think, oh, I'm safe up front, and then you get spun from the lead, and you think you're safe in the back, and then there's a wreck in front of you, and then you just get collected in it. So I really don't think that he's going to be too heartbroken with where he qualified at all with that.
Yeah, I don't either. And in fact, I mean, if I was any driver inside the top five as it sets right now, I wouldn't be upset with the qualifying attempt. I'm with you, Bryce, on this deal. I really think these drivers, I think these cars, the drivers are going to be able to keep a relatively tight pack. Now, I know Andrew Teft, I watched him quite a bit in practice. I know he wasn't shifting at the point in practice in which I was watching. So shifting versus non-shifting, I think you can still, I personally think that if you don't shift, right, you're going to have a better drive off. The car's not going to be as free center exit, and I think you can get a better drive off.
Yeah, it's weird because it's just preference for these drivers, because when you downshift, you do get more rotation, but you're also higher in the RPM range, so they do like to spin coming off the corner, so it's kind of preference. Early on, I think you can get away with, let's see, tires are going to be new. They can get away with probably downshifting, and then later on maybe not downshifting, just because those tires are going to be so worn on exit. You just do not want to be risking that later on in the race about possibly spinning yourself out.
So shifting versus not shifting, that's going to be a thing that we'll keep an eye on for the 150 laps that we have here. But we'll get into the starting grid. On pole will be the driver, the number 56, Mike Taylor. Starting outside him is going to be the driver, the number 69, Jesse Fox. Starting third is going to be the number 55, Truth Hope. Starting fourth is going to be the 18 of Sean Merriman. Starting fifth is going to be the 98 of Andrew Teft. Starting sixth, the fastest guy that we had in practice, is going to be the driver, the number 37, Alan Carter. Starting seventh, driving the number 15 out of Driving Extreme Incorporated, it's going to be Kinsley Smith. Starting eighth, driving the number 50, it's going to be Terry Fennell. Starting ninth, driving the number 14, is going to be Danny Jackson. Starting 10th, driving the number 7, is going to be Austin Norris. Starting 11th in the 00, Alan Burgeon. Starting 12th in the number 28 is going to be Barry Nelson. Starting 13th, driving the number 3 is going to be Troy Thomas. Starting 14th, my co-commentator on Thursday nights, Bryce, it's going to be Russ Martin Jr. And rounding out the field for the 15-car event tonight is going to be the driver, the number 192. It's going to be Timothy Eisbrand. And that will be your 213simware.com starting grid. Bryce, if you was to make a pick to win this race tonight, who would it be?
Oh, God. If I had to choose, probably the best weed eater we got tonight will be probably Teft. Teft seems to win a lot. He's got that Duncan paint scheme. I'd have to choose Teft out of all these guys. He seems to run well everywhere. I had to choose a dark horse. Say maybe Austin Norris for the dark horse tonight, for me at least.
Two very solid picks for sure. The lights is going to be out on the pace car. I'm going to go with Truth Oak. I don't want to give him the commentary curse, but I'm going to go with Truth Oak. And then a dark horse, maybe not so much a dark horse. I'll go with Kinsley Smith. That will be the driver choices from me and Bryce here tonight. Oh, they're going to take 2 parade laps. I forgot that we're at Martinsville. Was I wrong? The lights was out on the pace truck, was they not?
No, I think they were. That it throws me off. You think that they're going to be going green as soon as they come off. I think they should have. You may have been right. No, it looks like they were still on. So
okay,
it was 2 laps.
The lights is off now. The pace truck takes that hard left-hand turn down. That's going to turn the control over to Mike Taylor. Mike is a commentator here at Racers Elite Network. I believe Mike is. And the green flag is out. And we're underway, Bryce, for what's going to be 150 laps here at Martinsville.
This is going to be interesting. They're going to go down into turn 1, and everybody's pretty calm with each other. Now, I would almost wonder with how these cars don't have that much power, if you can actually just kind of run around the outside. It's probably going to hurt your tires, but I wouldn't think it's kind of like NASCAR as. Nope, never mind. We just found out really quickly. Fox, do not try to go to the outside and keep your foot down, because he just lost 6 to 7 positions. That's what I just said. But he lost a lot from that. So evidently you cannot try to stay in that high line and keep your foot in it. These cars just do not have the grip that they need.
Oh, big wreck behind them. That's going to be the 28 of Austin Norris. Sorry, the 28 of Barry Nelson. I believe Austin Norris was caught up in it. I don't think any other drivers got in it, but I know for sure Barry Nelson's bringing his Mazda down the pit road. Some damage on the front of the 7 machine. I'm gonna take a.
Yeah, it just looks like Nelson tried to clear himself up in front of Norris. Norris was there, and those two just made contact. I went off of 2.
Yeah, and there it is. You can see exactly what Bryce is talking about right there. That will bring out the first caution of the night. And much like you said, that high line for Jesse Fox, though, just did not work out. I mean, he went from 2nd all the way down to 8th, lost a total of 7 spots right there. That is, if you're one of these drivers, you want to take note of that, right? You want to pay attention to what happens within the first handful of laps, 10, 15 laps. And if you're one of these drivers, you want to make note of that and put it in the back of your mind not to do exactly what the 69 did there.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing to try it early on because you really don't know, what's going to happen. It's kind of like just see. I mean, if you lose spots, I mean, you can probably get them back there, before the race ends. So I would have possibly done the same thing. Maybe try that in practice to see what it would do. Maybe it changes once these tires get heated on, because seems like that's what happens with all the cars. Once you get heating the tires, they completely change how they handle.
So right now we're under the first caution. Mike Taylor still shows the way. Truth Hoke 2nd. Sean Merriman 3rd. Andrew Teff 4th. Alan Carter will round out the top 5. Kinsley Smith, Fennell, Fox, Jackson, Martin. That'll be 6th through 10th. And then Thomas, Eisbren, Burgeon, Norris. And we know the troubles that Norris and Nelson both had within that caution. The lights will be out this time on the pace truck. So we should be going back green. I want to see a lone green flag run here, Bryce. I want to see, a 20, 25, 30 lap run here. That way we can actually get to see just exactly how much these tires are going to wear and what kind of racing that we can get, especially in the latter part of a run.
Yeah, that'll be... I just don't know if these tires are going to wear, but I think possibly if they just drive it too hard. I think some guys, they'll kind of... Well, we'll actually say it here after they take the green. Looks like they will. Taylor gets off to a huge jump, but what I'm worried about is, these guys are probably thinking, oh, these cars handle so well, and they get in the throttle a lot earlier, and the tires, they don't necessarily wear, but they just get tight. You don't really feel it, and then the cars will just start to plow. So that's what I'm worried about as it goes on, if those guys don't realize that. But I don't know how these cars will handle on worn tires. I don't know if they'll get tight or if they'll just lose grip overall. We'll just have to see as it goes on.
Yeah, they could end up in just what would be a 4-wheel drift, and that's not going to be good. One driver sliding back a little bit, lost a couple of spots on the racetrack, is the 98 of Andrew Taft, and just a couple of spots behind him, Truth Hope involved in an accident. That's going to bring out our second caution, Bryce.
Yeah, it was on Truth. I don't know what happened to him. I think he got just tagged a little bit. Looks like he's coming down in front of the 18. 18's there, and oh gosh, everybody did a pretty good job to avoid him. Somebody hit the wall and spun a little bit. I'm not sure who that is. It's a green car. That looks like that may be...
That's the 50th Fennell.
Yeah.
Andrew
Taft. I don't think his damn...
Taft, I don't know if you've seen it or not. I want to rewind it and watch. Taft barely just made it through there. I'm going to back it up here, and we'll see if we can get on board with Andrew Taft here. Yeah, the back.
Oh, God.
That's tight.
That's one where, I mean, I've had so many wrecks like that, especially at super speedways, which I wish those are the spawn of Satan to me. You think you're through the wreck, and then just that very last second, you just get pounded in the quarter panel, and you're like, oh, you have to be kidding me. That's the one where you're like, please, please, please do not just roll down the track right into my quarter panel there. It looks like he was very lucky with it, so he needs to be very, very thankful he did not get destroyed from it.
So a couple cars coming down pit road. Sean Merriman decides to pit from the second position. He was racing with Hoke when that caution come out. So with about 10 laps in, he's decided to hit pit road. Austin Norris is going to come down. Looks like he's going to take... I don't think he did. I think he's just still taking repairs. I don't think he burned a fast repair.
Yeah, Nelson's 22 seconds. Fennell's 17. I don't think Terry hit it hard enough. I mean, he definitely got a pretty good shot, but it looked like everything stayed pretty much intact.
If we can take a look at the front end of that race car. As you can see, for the race fans at home, I'm not seeing a lot of damage on the front end of that car. So much like you said, Bryce, to his credit, getting it sideways and just barely any contact with the front of the inside retaining wall, and he's able to keep it rolling. So the pace truck is off. That means we're going to get this race back under green flag condition. Mike Taylor still shows the way. Alan Carter outside of him. The green flag is back out. We're back underway with the Mazda MX-5s here at Martinsville.
Taylor's getting pretty good jumps. He's not having to worry about anything behind him. And if I was Taylor, I'd be like, yes, just please do not. I feeling that it's actually probably pretty hard to time it with the leader just because of where they're limited on power. So I think really leader has control of this race pretty much from the start for these guys.
Yeah, I've been watching this battle for second. Kinsley Smith, Alan Carter been leaning on each other, at least the last time by they did. Right now, Kinsley's been able to hold that inside line, but whatever Alan's doing on the outside is making it work. Now, my question is, again, how abrasive is that? And you talked about it a little bit earlier, that outside line, how abrasive or aggressive is it going to be on the tires running out there where Carter's running?
And you can kind of see this, it's kind of starting to rubber up. You can see a lot of black in the middle of it. He's running right above where all that black is on the track. So I would be a little bit nervous if I was him. I'd be thinking, hey, let's maybe try to find a way down if possible, because I don't think it's a good thing for him to be up that high on the track the whole time.
Right now, he's been able to hold the position. I'm watching just behind them by about 5 cars. There's another side-by-side battle back there. That's going to be Eisbren. That's going to be the 14, Danny Jackson, all right here together. I believe that's going to be Truth Hoke. He's working himself back through the field.
Up front, Fox is running 22 22s right now, and he's got 2 cars in front of him that are fighting for the same position. Looks like they get that sorted out. So they definitely do lose time when they're side by side. Those cars in front were about 2/10 slower. That lap, however, Kinsley just picked up 22:45. Looks like they're catching Taylor at the same time too.
Yeah, they was. That's one thing that I was watching there as that battle was going on with Carter and Kinsley, was the fact that Taylor was not able to sneak away from these guys. Now, you said it. Jesse was able to make up some ground. Mike was not able to gain anything. So
I think Mike might have to defend here really, really soon. It looks like he will. Smith will show his nose to the inside. Taylor gives him that lane. Looks like they'll be able to get side by side with each other. So tires may be coming into play here.
And in fact, Kinsley will have what we think right now is going to be the preferred line. In fact, it is the preferred line. You'll see he'll clear Mike Taylor there. He's going to be under fire by Alan Carter, Jesse Fox. Those 2 guys have been fast. Bryce talked about it. Jesse laying down a 22.2s, not but about 3 laps ago. New race leader, Kinsley Smith.
I'm trying to listen to their tire chatter right now. I can hear them. See what it is. I can definitely see it in. So I don't know how much you can adjust the brakes in these cars, but they're definitely really, really loose in. They're having to chase it. At least with Smith. I wonder what Taylor's dealing with. Taylor's dealing with it too. I can see him when he goes down to get into the corner, gets on the brakes. He's having to counter steer a little bit and chase the rear end. We'll see what Carter does now. Carter downshifts really early. He didn't have that issue. I wonder if he has it here now because he's clear. We'll see how deep he gets into the corner. He did it a little bit, so I'm seeing some counter steer getting in. So these cars do not like to downshift getting into the corner.
Yeah, we're riding on board right now with Allen. And there's that big counter steer that Bryce was talking about for the race fans at home. You can see every time that he downshifts into that second gear, he's got to put a little counter steer in, and not so bad that corner entry as it was the previous one.
Fastest on track right now is Smith. He's only 500ths faster though, so he's not running absolutely flying laps by any means. I wonder how long can they go? I think they can maybe. No, he's probably changed it to where they can't do that, right? So he gave him. Will they be able to go this whole race on one tank of fuel?
I'll be honest, I don't know what we're going to get in terms of fuel mileage out of these cars. I would suspect that he's changed it. But I'll tell you,
it's 100% fuel. I know that.
Is it?
I just checked. It's 100% fuel.
They very well could make it plumb to the end on a tank of fuel with these race cars. I tell you what, though, the guy I'm impressed with right now is Truth Oak. You know, he got tied up in that second caution and has since raced himself back inside the top 5. Currently riding 5th right now is the driver, the number 55, Truth Oak. It's kind of the man on the move.
Yeah, he's actually the biggest mover. Nope, he's not. The biggest mover of this race is actually Russ. He is up 8 positions, currently in 6th. He qualified 14th as he's turned his wipers on by accident. He turns them right back off. Biggest loser of this race so far is Sean. He's down 8 positions, currently sitting in 12th right now, so he's struggling a little bit. We got a caution here.
Yeah, Alan Burgeon.
If I had to guess, this is probably clipping the apron, most likely. Let's see what he hits here. No, he just drifted the whole entire corner.
We'll bring it up here and take a look at it.
Looks like. So what I saw is he downshifted a little bit later than when he did. The car tried to step out and he counter steered, but he was already in the corner turning, so it just kind of kicked the rear end out even more.
And that will bring out the 3rd caution of the night. Now, at 30 laps in, I suspect that we're going to see a lot of these drivers hit. Well, I say that, and a lot of these drivers are staying out. So I see Hoke on pit road from the 5th position, Teft, Merriman, Troy Thomas down pit road. So not a lot of takers on pit road right now, Bryce.
Yeah, they weren't really running slower times either. They were still running. Well, actually, they were running their fastest times, 22, 21, and that was with probably 20-ish laps on the tires. So
virtually no fall off.
Yeah, I don't know if tires are really going to mean that much. That may just be for fuel, and they need to get that car off of pit road, whoever that is sitting down there, so they'll be able to do it. I don't know if you need tires this race. I don't even know if you need to pit, to be honest with you.
So very quickly, 32 of the 150 down. We're going to be about 18 laps shy of hitting that 50 mark for about 100 to go. But that was a decent green flag run we had right there. And now we was and what we was able to see there is downshifting seems to be the key, but downshifting at the appropriate time to keep the back end of the car on you underneath of you is also the key.
Yeah, and I think that what these guys are going to have to deal with, I think that it's just how these cars are, is they're going to have to deal with some sort of counter steer. I don't think they're going to be able to get away from having to counter steer the car at all. I think it's just how much can you handle. You don't want to have to be cranking that wheel back to the right to deal with it. But I think that you have to find that soft spot of how much you can deal with having to have that car step out.
The lights is going to be out on the pace truck. He's going to take that hard left-hand turn. Smith, Carter, Fox, Taylor, Russ Martin Jr. That's going to be the top 5. It's going to be on the hands of Kinsley Smith. Now, this will be the first restart that we've seen with somebody different up front. It had been Mike Taylor, but Kinsley's going to take the green flag. He's going to hit the wipers, Bryce, and he's setting sail.
A lot of guys are hitting their wipers on accident, but I don't really think that's going to matter much to him here. But I want to see if who was on the pole. Was it Mike? I want to see if Mike. Oh, we got somebody around. That's Nelson up in turn 3. Barely tapped the wall. Looks like he's just going to get away pretty cleanly. I don't think he got any damage from that.
You can see the wipers on that race machine. It's about 6th, 7th in line. Little brush with the outside wall and the 192. I mean, that's just racing, right? The 192 was going to enter about a lane up off the bottom. 28 wasn't expecting it, and it just ran out of racing room.
Yeah, here's what I think actually really happened here is, so he's got, who is that in front of him? The 90, or the 9, yeah. So he's got Russ in front of him, and this is one thing with short tracks that is, God, Martinsville is literal hell on iRacing, is everybody has a different braking zone. Nobody's braking zone is going to be the same. Some guys have aggressive rear brake bias, aka me, so I like to get in a little bit deeper. Sometimes I will try to arch the corner, but what I think happened here is Eisburn sees the 91 of Martin get on the brakes, and he kind of panics and moves up the track just a little bit, so he doesn't hit the 91 in the rear end. The 28 just happens to be on his outside, and he just barely clips him.
Just got heads up driving. And you're absolutely right. Everybody drives, especially short tracks, right? I mean, you can see this at just about anywhere. IRP, Iowa, Richmond. It stands out. I feel like it stands out more here just because you have these a little bit longer straightaways at Martinsville than you do most short tracks with how tight these corners are, more of a paperclip shape that it is. So I think what we're seeing is, you're exactly right, but I think it's elevated more so here at Martinsville than any other short track that we could visit during the regular season anywhere else we go.
Yeah, that's one thing. It's not even racing at Martinsville. It's just pacing at Martinsville. You get a lot of practice doing that. But it looks like lights have gone off on the pace truck here. So these guys are getting ready to go green on lap 39.
Smith, Carter, Fox, Taylor, Jackson. That's going to be the top 5. Eisburn, Teff, Norris, Merriman, Martin. It's going to be 6th through 10th. Hoke, Nelson, Burgeon, Thomas, Fennell. That's going to be 11th through 15. The pace truck's going to be off. That's going to turn the control back over to Kinsley Smith. We'll see how this restart works out, Bryce, as we're going to be completing our 4th caution.
I'll just have to see here. It looks like Smith gets a pretty good jump, and he's going to be off and away.
Yeah, and I like what Kinsley's doing there. Clearing and very quickly trying to get up to make that a little bit of a better entry into turn 1 there.
It's a nice arch into the corner there, but Carter got an even better run right off the corner, so I'm going to have a look inside. Let's see, he stays a little bit higher. He's missed it on that corner there. He was not able to get to the bottom like he needed to. So I almost wonder if how much. Oh, there we go. I had a feeling that was going to happen.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem with shifting in itself. We'll pop the replay up here.
What I was about to say is I didn't know, like, I know you have to arch the entry to get a good rotation in the center. I just don't know how much you needed to with these cars when I was saying that. And then you see the 15 overcorrects and just nails the outside wall. That was a really late downshift. He downshifted in the middle of the corner. Yeah, so it's the downshift that got him in that predicament there. He didn't do it getting in. He did it halfway through, and when he did that halfway through, it just decided to snap on him.
So in essence, we're saying he pulled a Kyle Larson here at Martinsville.
Yeah, Kyle Larson at Atlanta. It was that 2 years ago, 1 year ago.
Well, let's see. I was at that race. A year ago.
No, it was 1 year ago.
Yep.
Yeah, it was playoffs. Remember, I actually remember that. I was talking to somebody in the Discord. They were like, "Who should we bet on?" And I said, "Not Larson." And literally 2 seconds after that happened, he smoked the outside wall, and I was like, "Yep, that basically sums up super speedways for him."
Yeah, and then again this past weekend, right at Talladega. I mean, our dude has a chance and
runs out of fuel on the backstretch. Yeah, and Cliff even told him he had fuel, and I was like, I went from being so happy to being so depressed within the span of literally 1 second. I thought he blew up, but then I thought he blew up, but then I realized it was fuel because the way he pulled out, there would have been a lot of smoke, and I was like, oh, he just ran out of fuel.
Yeah, as soon as he dipped out of line, I was like, he's out of fuel.
Yeah, this whole race at Martinsville is going to make me stressed. 'Cause I'm hoping that nobody new wins playoff-wise, but if somebody playoff-wise wins and at points...
The only guy that we're racing really is going to be Christopher Bell. Yeah, I mean, it's a point difference, so... How was your trip to Darlington? You went to Darlington, right?
Yeah, I did. I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, definitely going down to Darlington, you can tell that it's old South. There is nothing for miles, and then it's like, bam, here's a racetrack in the middle of nowhere, and we're like, what in the world? But I mean, it wasn't a bad experience. It's definitely weird. I don't really like the stands, to be honest with you, because they built them tall. Yeah, they built them tall to where you can't really see the track, and we didn't even have bad stands there. But I'll talk about it a little bit more after they go green here.
Now we have a new race leader, and that's going to be Alan Carter, and he's going to be taking the green. In fact, he does right now. We are back under green flag condition. Now, Carter, Fox, and Taylor has all stayed right here, but I think this is really going to give Carter an opportunity to try to sneak away from these guys because he was the fastest overall in practice.
I just want to see how they learned. No, they didn't learn their lesson. And oh gosh, 28 just smoked the inside wall. He got the 18 also. Jackson's involved in that too. I was going to say, did they learn their lesson with downshifting? And as soon as that came out of my mouth, evidently they didn't.
You can see the 14, Andrew Teff's taking a look to the inside.
Oh, actually, it's not downshifting. Teff just...
And Russ Martin just absolutely nowhere to go. Clips the front end of the race car. I want to take a look. See what happened. I want to see what happens to the 28 back here because I feel like that it was a whole complete different incident.
Yeah, and Teff's contact was net code. I just went and looked at it.
Yeah.
I think the 28's probably slowing down. I think he's got really aggressive brake bias. Nope, he just comes across the back end of somebody, and that just hooks the front end of that car and shoots it across the track. That is not what he wanted to see.
Yeah, I was going to call the situation with Danny Jackson and Andrew Teff netcode. It looks the way it looked like on my screen anyway. When you see contact happen and a car step out and you see racing surface between them, typically probably going to be netcode. So
yeah, all of you console players who are playing, what is it, NASCAR 25, you better be happy that you don't have to deal with netcode on that, because you all would actually break something with how bad netcode is sometimes.
Not got to play NASCAR 25 yet.
Yeah, I haven't either. It looks, I don't know, people have really hyped it up, but the whole issue with, like, I have with it is, I know it's not going to be running on the same engine that iRacing is, which we give iRacing a lot of crap. It's pretty good, but it still looks like it has too much of an arcade feel to me. Like there's too much grip. If you know what I mean.
Anything
you look at it, I don't know, like you look at it, like you see these guys that are like full on, you know, foot to the floor. I'm like, that would not work in these cars at all. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, if it's on a console, it's going to be arcadish. I mean, at least it is for me. Now, I mean, you know, before iRacing, you know, we used to run on Xbox. I believe it was like NASCAR 5, whatever it was. I can't remember. 05, NASCAR 5 or something along those lines. And even then, it was just arcadish, right? I mean, there's only so much you can do with console.
Yeah, limited by the stuff you have. I mean, it's not a bad game overall, though. I think people need to kind of peel back the layers. It is made by iRacing, but see it for what it is. That it's got some flaws with it.
The green flag is back out, and in fact, Alan Carter, he's not going to sneak away just like he did that last restart. I mean, Mike Taylor staying right there with him.
Gosh, he got in there deep.
He did. Actually, I was about to say that. He really drove in there and into the corner and got in there deep. And in fact, he's making it work too, because I don't know if that's helping his center exit, but I mean, he's making it work for what it is.
I wonder if we're going to see some rotors glowing on these cars. I know with the Cup cars, you'll see it, but I don't know if these cars are heavy enough to see rotor glow. He is just throwing that thing in there and hoping it sticks. That's kind of what you have to do sometimes, is you don't really know if it's going to work. So it's basically just like, hey, let's see if it'll work on them.
Yeah, and in fact, he was able to take a look at the inside of Alan Carter right there. Was not able to complete the pass. These guys are driving extremely hard right now. Jesse Fox in tow. And then you have Eisbrun, Taft, Hope following them.
We're running 22 4s right now, 23s, a little bit back in the pack, but they're 3/10 off their fastest lap. Actually, no, they're running their fastest times right now, so I don't think there's tire fall off like we thought there would be. I think that these guys are pretty much fine on tires.
Yeah, Eisbrun just laid down his fastest, 22:19. And we are 55 laps into this race. So
I think we're good on that.
yeah, I don't suspect tires is going to be a problem for these drivers tonight. Russ Martin, after contacting that last caution, is trying to work himself back through the field. In fact, he'll complete a pass. That's going to be for 7th. Right now, though, Eisbrun's the biggest mover on the racetrack, Bryce, up 11 positions.
Yeah, he's kept that car relatively clean. We saw him involved in that last incident, or incident before that one, but car still looks pretty clean overall. As I must say that, he must get in the wall on exit, getting too high off the corner. This makes me eat my words. I can't tell if there's tire fall, because like they run a 22.2 and then they go and run a 22.5. So I really don't know what it's going to be like tire wear wise.
And nonetheless, they're staying within about 2.5 tenths of their fastest laps. Most of these drivers are. So, or at least these two guys, in terms of Carter and Taylor, they're staying relatively close to 2.5, 3 tenths within their fastest lap time right now.
I want to see if they start moving this groove up and get a better arch in the corner, because I think some guys will realize, hey, we're not getting the turn that we need. Let's just go ahead and realize, let's move up a groove, see what we can get. Maybe get a better exit, maybe save some tire, just kind of experiment. I mean, you got 90 laps to do it, so as you can see, they're definitely doing that. At least Mike is. He's moved up about half lane up on entry, just trying to get a better entry on him.
Yeah, I think he just needs to be a little bit more patient, but he's got an excellent center and drive off. It just, the car's not rotating towards the bottom in the center. There's that wide entry that you were talking about. Yeah, you could see it. He showcased it a lot more right there through 1 and 2.
I think that that's just something that we're going to see it move up even more because it's starting to get a little bit darker on the track. And when I say darker on the track, I mean kind of like a little bit up in the lane. You see that gray area, those black strips that we're seeing are starting to move up just a tad. And as they run up there, the grip will just continue to build.
So about 2.5, 3 laps ago, Truth Hoke was able to get around Andrew Teft to move Hoke back inside the top 5. We're very quickly and rapidly approaching halfway. We're about, call it, 12 laps away from the halfway point.
Let's see. As you see Eisburn, he's continuing to make up spots, and he still hasn't pitted this whole entire race. But his times are 22. See, he's passing the guy that time, so it's going to be still slower this lap. I want to see if he's maybe saving his tires a little bit, because I want to see what he runs this time by.
Yeah, in fact, none of the front 4 drivers, Carter, Taylor, Fox, Eisburn, none of those 4 have yet hit pit road. And we're 65 laps in. And so taking a look at it, Carter, Taylor still running 46s, Jesse in the 50s.
Yeah, and now they just ran a 22.3 as Eisburn is about to wreck himself. I've been watching him for the past 5 laps. He is driving in so hard, and that car is basically drifting around the corner with how he's having to deal with it, trying to step out. I want to see, are they getting tight now? My question here. I'm going to listen to Carter. No, but it has stopped stepping out on intro, though. I did notice that. Or it's doing it a little bit, but I just can't see it. He's getting a really good bite in the center. Let's see what Taylor does. He's not getting the same bite that Carter is, but he's actually able to somehow keep that wheel turning more than I thought he should be able to, because it looks like it should be getting absolutely tight on him, but he's somehow making it rotate.
You can see Taylor kind of overshoots. Center exit there was about a half a lane off the bottom of the racetrack. The 00 is going to move up out of the way. That was a weird exit and position for Taylor to be in right there.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know, that's just odd. He hit his wiper blades again. Accident. Oh, gosh. It just looks like these cars should be so tight, but they're not. 22.4 by Martin. Martin's running. Martin did pit on lap 35. I don't think the tires matter anything at all, but they're definitely dropping off time-wise now. So I think the tires are finally starting to wear a little bit later on in this run. Not when I thought they should, but it's definitely happening now to them.
Yeah, so about near, call it the halfway point of the race, and what will be here in about 3 laps once these leaders cross the start-finish line. In fact, right there they go. Now we're starting to see, much like Bryce said, a little bit of a tire fall off, but I mean, the front 2 is matching lap times, and they've been right there all. I mean, they've just been all over each other for the last 30 laps.
22.5, 22.4, 22.3. That's way back. I almost wonder if you're Taylor here, if you just kind of just watch what, you know, Carter does and just kind of keep him in your, you know, peripherals as he tries to dive it on in there.
In fact, he did.
Ended up really bad.
I mean, he was able to make up some ground, but I really thought that he was going to loop that car because he was so close to curb hopping on entry right there. I don't know if that has much effect on these cars as what it would in the Cup Series, Xfinity Series, even trucks, but I mean, Taylor is selling it off in there right now.
Somebody almost loop. I could have swore I heard a downshift go wrong there, but Fox is kind of just lurking. He's literally just kind of watching these guys just race each other. He's just staying there. He's not really making too much of a move. He's just watching. He's actually gaining a little bit of time here as I'm seeing him creep up on him. He's going to run a 22.65. That was a little bit slower than Taylor, but that was faster than Carter, so he is catching him here.
Jesse Fox doing a great job. I tell you, one guy I've been keeping an eye on, though, Bryce. He's got around Andrew Teft. He's battling side by side right now with Truth Oak. We know he was on pit road about lap 35. Russell Mutton Jr. is slowly creeping himself towards, you know, the top 5 of this race right now.
I want to see. So front 4 are still running 22s. Everybody behind them's 20. Not everybody. Almost everybody behind them's running 23s. So just I don't. It's weird. I don't know what to say. Like, I can't tell if it's tires or if it's just traffic. Cause you got that one car that's having to stay up high. I can't tell if they're running into them or not. They definitely aren't matching each other, though.
So some guys electing to shift, some guys not. Russell Martin has, in fact, cleared Truth Oak for the 5th position, so he finds himself back inside the top 5. He's got Eisbrun just a couple of car lengths in front of him. And right now, he's about 0.3 faster than Eisbrun.
Definitely looks like it's the top 4 have found something out that we just don't know. They've really turned it up.
Yeah, 81 laps on a set of tires right now. And still virtually, I mean, only just what from what we can see, about a half a second worth of fall off, really. I mean, it's not been too wild for the top 3. Jesse's actually starting to put a little bit of pressure on Mike Taylor. I think overall, him just riding back there, he wasn't charging the entries. He wasn't burning the centers. Right now, if there is a tire advantage, I would think that it would probably go to the 69.
Fox, I mean, he's just slowly. It's not big chunks. He's just every now and then he's just gaining ground, and I'm not even going to give him the curse. I was going to say he's not making mistakes, but he's just not being overly aggressive. Like, that's what I see from him. He's just being calm, collected, being like, hey, you know, let's just enter the corner, not with my hair on fire, is what I see him doing.
Right, yeah, just patience, right? I mean, we talked about patience quite a bit when we would call races together on Friday nights. You just got to have a little bit of patience. I mean, 150 laps at Martinsville may not seem like a lot, but that's quite a bit of racing. You know, we've had 5 cautions already. Just take care of your equipment.
He's running 22.86. He loses time every now and then, but I think if he can get past, Fox here, not Fox, past Taylor, I think he'll have a legit shot at making it, to Carter with the time that he has, because he's going to have 60 laps to do it. I don't think he's going to be struggling too hard.
Right now, the closest battle we have for position is going to be the 91 and 192. Russell Martin looking to take over the 4th spot. You were talking about brake rotors glowing, Bryce, a little bit ago. Right now, I can see it heavy on the right front of the 91.
see it here on Martin. Can't see it on that side. It's probably on you said on the right side of it.
Yeah, the right front.
Oh yeah, I can see it now. It's not as big as a cup as NASCAR rotors, but I definitely see it now. So I wonder if that heat's going to the tires and it's starting to balloon them up and make it not grip as well. As I thought Fox was going to get past Taylor. He's still having to deal with him.
We'll get back to the battle for second. Right now, Jesse Fox has been putting a lot of pressure onto the back end of that 56 machine the last several laps.
Let's see. Now, the one thing that Carter's probably loving this because he's just watching those guys go at it. He's like, yes, please keep fighting each other while I just drive off into the sunset and not have to deal with you all at the moment. He is welcoming us with open arms, basically, at this point. He's saying, yes, please race. Don't make me get involved with this. I don't want to have to deal with this. So he is perfectly fine with this right now at the moment.
Yeah, when you see that kind of pressure being put on from the third, Jesse Fox riding in third, putting a lot of pressure onto the back end of Mike Taylor, the one thing you want to do is, much like you said, is, just be, again, it's patience. Just take care of your equipment. If you're Alan Carter, let those guys battle it out. They got to chase you down at this point with about a 0.7 of a second lead. That kind of frees up a little bit of the kind of that feel of I gotta go, right? Like it kind of gives you a little bit of breathing room, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and you can also kind of cool your tires down a little bit more. These guys are not going to have to be pushing too hard. That's what they're going to be really happy with. Is if you don't have to push hard up front, that's always the best thing because once you get behind somebody, you're having to get on the brakes a little bit harder because you're having to guess where they're braking. So he's definitely probably getting to save his stuff while this is happening. As Fox is, he's trying everything he can to get up there, but he just cannot find a way around him.
Yeah, and right now, this is still the closest battle we have on the racetrack, Bryce, is Jesse Fox and Mike Taylor. I was kind of peeking through some of the drivers there to see if there was any other battles going on, and right now I'm just not seeing it. At least not as intense as what the battle for second has been.
Yeah, everybody's gotten so spaced out. Now they're running 22.7s again, so they're back down into the 22s. As Eisman's kind of stalled, Martin's kind of stalled. He needs something to happen. As Fox, he is just trying to hound him. He just
Mike Taylor's coming to pit road. Taylor's coming to pit road, Bryce.
I'm a little bit confused by this. Maybe they do need tires. Who knows? I really don't know why he would come down pit road there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, lap 97 coming to lap 98. Taylor decides to elect to hit pit road.
It's not odd. I don't know why you do that.
I'm not sure of that call either. We know they got 100% fuel. We didn't think fuel was going to be a problem. Tires may not necessarily, we don't feel like it's going to be a problem. We'll keep an eye on it. Now the question is, right? We know Jesse was putting a lot of pressure on the back end of Mike Taylor for second. Now Jesse's got to put the head down and go chase down Alan Carter.
Yeah, and the question is here, like, does that open the floodgates for everybody else now, or do they all stay out on track? Like, I don't know what you do now here. Like, I think they're going to keep an eye on where Taylor comes out and if he gains the positions back. But I don't know how it's going to work out here for him.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm somewhat confused by the call to come to pit road there. And unless he knows something we don't and wanted to go ahead and put some fresh tires on him, we keep an eye on his lap times. I mean, I don't know. I find that weird. I just don't understand
why he would come down pit road like that. I don't just don't see the point in it.
You know, one thing I'm finding interesting though, Bryce, is I'm flipping through and I'm watching these drivers enter the corners, and I find myself looking at the right front. And so I was watching the 18. He's a lap down, but I was watching an 18 enter, and his brake rotor was glowing. But I've been watching Alan Carter and even at times Jesse Fox, and neither one of their brake rotors show any type of glow, as if they're hard onto the brakes. I find that interesting.
What I felt, here comes Fox down pit road. So I guess they don't have fuel to the end. So, kind of going off where you saw that their brake rotors are not glowing, is there's a possibility that they're lifting a lot earlier than everybody else, and they're letting the car actually slow itself down before they get on the brake, so it's just not getting as hot for them. That's what they could be doing to make that brake, really make their tire stay a little bit colder than everybody else's.
So now this becomes interesting, because Russ Martin Jr., if and when Alan Carter hits pit road, and right now we've seen 2 of our front 3 hit pit road. So if and when Carter comes to pit road, Russ Martin Jr. pitted at lap 35. Now we know a fuel run's about 105, so he's going to be short, would he not? If the pit window is, say, 110, he might make it. This might be this is going to be interesting.
I don't know. I mean, depends on, well, I don't think these cars would use that much fuel under caution, but maybe you can save. I don't know if you can save enough. I don't think you can. I don't really know. Fuel is so weird with these cars because, again, I don't run these things. So there is a chance that he can make it to the end, and I'm just
Carter's coming to pit road. Yep. Carter's coming to pit road now. So the top 3 has now elected to hit pit road. Now, we know at one point in time, 3 of the top 4 had not made it to pit road yet. So now we got to see where Mike Taylor cycles out in comparison to when Jesse comes out, in comparison to where Alan comes out of pit road. Now the question is going to be, does Russ Martin Jr. have enough fuel to get to the end with about, call it 40, say 42, 43 laps to the finish?
I don't know. Let's find out. So they'll put, Martin's way ahead of him. I think that the guys that pitted early on, I think I don't know. I'm not going to say anything. I want to say yes, but at the same time, I'm not completely sure. And that's because, I don't know. Like, it's just odd.
Now
I don't really know what to say.
Yeah, I don't either, because but the only thing we can say right now is this could be best case scenario for Russ Martin Jr. Because really, truthfully, I mean, his last time by was 22.7s. Now, that's only about 0.3 off his best lap. However, Mike, Alan, Jesse, all those guys, they're going to have to unlap themselves and then come back around the racetrack. And I just don't know if there's that much difference between fresh tires and old tires that's going to be able to be done. I just don't. Not in what we're looking at 38 laps to go. I just don't know if that's enough time.
Got 22.6, and the guys that pitted are only running 22.3s, 22.5s. So I don't think that they're going to be able to, make up that track position. I think they're going to be. This is going to be so odd with just how this has worked out overall.
It is. Why? First of all, why does this always happen to me and you? These
I don't know.
strange calls with when to come to pit road, etc. It seems like every single race we do together, there's always something that stumps us and throws us for a loop.
Yeah, and you think you're like, oh, they're gonna come to pit road at this time. And then a caution comes out, and you're like, huh? Now when do they come to pit road? And then you're kind of stuck at that. You're like, well, crap. Oh, we got a caution here though.
And that's going to be a game changer. I believe that was Eisbrand.
Yeah, throw all that out the window.
Does he just overcook it? Yeah, he does. Just kind of overcooks entry. You can see him get onto the brakes there, Bryce, and then it just kind of.
Yeah, it just looks like just loops it.
If we go
How
on
many
board,
people
maybe
did
it was
that
a.
trap
He's
a lap
already
down?
downshifted.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
just
did that trap? Oh, hold on. Did that trap people a lap down?
that would, in fact, trap some drivers a lap down. Now, here's the question. The question is so you just saying? I believe it was Mike Taylor that will get the free pass here. Now, I believe for a waiver round, that means Russ Martin and these guys would have to pit. And in fact, there comes Russ and everybody else. So that means the 37, that everybody else should be able to get a waiver round, at least out of the front four that was in a green flag cycle at the time.
Yeah, I wasn't completely sure, but yeah, with them coming down pit road. And look who that cycles back to the lead, I think. Pitted at lap 115. Hold on. Will it put Teft to the lead, or am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. I think Teft will inherit the race lead here, as he was down on pit road at lap 115. No, I think you're right, because right now my timing and scoring shows him as the leader. Now, did he have to take a waiver round? That's the question, because these guys would be shown in front of the race leaders, but they would have to fall to the back, the tail end of the longest line, would they not? We'll have to see. Well, we'll see how this works out. Teft, Hoke, Martin, you can see. No, that is going to put Teft and Hoke on the front row. Russell Martin Jr. third.
Change of events there for sure. Did not think that would happen at all.
The rest of the cars just not packed up. It's just these four cars. I'm not sure where everybody else was, if they just got caught in the wave around. I'm not sure what was going on there, but caution's out. Looks like Jesse Fox crashed. Eisbrand crashed.
We have a bunch of weird stuff going on. So Eisbrand got loose, overcorrected, and Fox had nowhere to go. He just destroyed him. What is going on here? And that's going to mess up the timing. Yeah, Taylor's got a black. That should be cleared. Eisbrand's got a flag. Fox is done. He's got a meatball. So I have no idea what in the world is going on here.
Yeah, everything just completely changed, right? I mean, we seen the four drivers. And again, Eisbrand pretty much did the same thing there in the eighth caution as what happened in the seventh when he brought out the seventh caution of the night. And so it's kind of the same incident, but none of the other drivers that took the waiver round or whatever the case was had gotten up to the back of the field when Teft and Hoke brought these guys to green. Now, something happened with Hoke. It says Hoke crashed. Hoke goes down into the corner. Up into the marbles, maybe?
What do we have happening here?
He tried to miss Eisbrand. You can see him lock it up right there, yeah. So that's why Hope fell to 7th. We go back green. We're going to have about 25 to go, give or take. This has been quite an interesting turn of events for the way the cautions has fell here.
Yeah, this literally just flipped everything on their head. Like, I don't even know who's where they belong. It is, yeah, I don't know. It is just completely jumbled up.
Right now, it looks like to me the only ones that we can be certain of is Teft. Looks like he's still going to remain the leader. Russell Martin Jr. will be outside him. Jackson and then Taylor. Taylor, we know, led some laps. Now you have Alan Carter into the mix. You can see Hoke back there. We know Jesse Fox had. Yeah, he's still on pit road getting tires, so he's not going to make it back out before the green flies. In fact, the green flag is back out. We're going to have exactly 26 laps to go. Russell Martin with a heck of a jump. I'll be surprised. We'll see if he gets a black flag here, but that was a beautiful start by Russ Martin Jr.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on mine, so that may be a clean start. Andrew may be in the wrong gear possibly from that. That's all I can think of is Teft will go to the inside of him now.
Yeah, quite the bobble that Russ Martin Jr. had right there. And in fact, we're not seeing anything in race controlled terms, so it will be a clean start. Russ gets hard into the outside wall there. That's going to open up the door for Danny Jackson, Mike Taylor, Truth Hope trying to get through there. Alan Carter in the mix. Sean Merriman, who needed a caution, was running. Oh,
no, Teft. He just looped it on his own. That had to have just been a downshift middle of the corner. He was all alone. Goes in and just loops it on his own. Didn't hit anything. It's just a mistake there by Teft.
Quite an unusual one by him. However, I'm not sure how often a lot of these drivers drive this car. You know, I mean, we got to take that into consideration. You said yourself, you don't drive it. I don't drive it, you know, so well, but you've had 125 laps to learn it. Still is not a lot of seat time.
I don't know. Like, I think you have to downshift though. Like, you just can't not downshift. I just don't think we'll get the rotation that you need. But I don't even know how to describe what's going on here. This is just weird.
So that will turn race lead over to Mike Taylor. It's going to be Danny Jackson, Russ Martin Jr. It's going to be Sean Merriman, Alan Carter. That's going to be the top 5. You can see Jesse Fox just got his lap back. He was the lucky dog. I believe that will put Jesse back onto the lead lap. The lights remain on. That means we're going to have at least 2 more laps before we go back to green. And that puts Mike Taylor back out front. So what was a wild turn of events between the 7th, 8th, and now the 9th caution, the complexity of the race has changed again.
Yeah, I don't know who I'd even choose at this point. It's just weird. We got somebody. Yeah, Eisman's got a black flag because he's got that car destroyed. So they're all basically on the same footing again. Nobody's, at an advantage here.
Now, when we take a look at the top 4 was last on pit road at lap 116. Alan Carter on pit road at 107. So much like you said, Bryce, no real advantage for anyone at least in the top. Well, anyone on the lead lap. So the top 7, there's not really a tire advantage any one way or the other. So the pace truck is off. That will turn the control back over to Mike Taylor. Get this race back on the green. And green flag is back out. Nice start by Mike. Is Russ going to be able to hang the corner of the 14? He is not. He's actually going to break in a little early.
You got a good run, though. Really good run down the back stretch.
He did. In fact, he's going to be looking to take over the race lead here. Danny Jackson has found something here with about 20 laps to go. He's going to be looking to take over the race lead. Here comes Sean Merriman. He's going to look to follow on the inside around him.
Oh,
Contact.
I knew he was going to go. I saw him bobble at middle of the corner and just a little bit of contact there from the 28. I saw him try to catch it, and he caught it, but it was too little too late. He didn't hit the apron. He just
got in there hot. You can see the back end.
He may have hit that. He may have hit the apron there just a tad. Nah, it looks like it's just an overcorrection there. It was very close to the apron, causing all that.
We'll take a ride on board with him here. He tried to drive it out. He knew the back end of the car was loose. He tried. Sean Merriman nowhere to go. So kind of just how we started this race. You got Mike Taylor back out front. Now Alan Carter has got into second. Jesse Fox taking another lucky dog wave around. That may actually put him back on the lead lap. We'll see. I'm not sure how many. He's still showing 2 laps down. So then you got Russ Martin Jr., Truth Hoke, Andrew Teff. That's going to round out the top 5. The way this race is going, Bryce, we might only end up with about 5 or 6 cars that finishes this thing.
Hey, guys are starting to drop as the race goes on, so it's definitely thinning the herd here. Also, with it getting so late in the race, maybe some guys make some moves that they wouldn't normally make. Possibly that's what they might do. I wouldn't be against. Just throw your brain out the window is what seems to happen as the race gets going.
And we're going to have about 14 laps to go once we restart this thing. We'll see if the lights go out on the pace car this time. And in fact, they do. So we'll have 14 laps to decide the finish of this race, provided it stays green. You got Taylor, Carter, Martin, Hoke, Teff. That's going to be the top 5. Merriman and Jackson. It's going to be 6th, 7th.
Really looking at this 91 here. If he can get this jump on the 37 to get second.
Green flag is out, Bryce. We're going to be back underway. And in fact, the 91's not going to be able to hold the quarter of the 37. Although the top 3 able to squeak away just a little bit from Hoke, Teft, Merriman.
Carter gave it a look. I mean, he definitely wants it there, and he might have a chance here. As where'd he go? There he is. It's going to be side by side down into 1 and 2. Going to get deep into the corner. Give that. Actually, he runs that 51 or that 56. Kind of goes up high on his own. He's blinking, so these guys can't really tell where he is. So that's going to be one of the most nerve-wracking things for him. To be able to see where that car is.
Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing being with Hoke, Martin, Merriman right there. They're just not sure where he's going and where he's going to be. But now there is quite a bit of distance between Carter and Taylor, so
see what they can do.
Move
Taylor's
Hoke up
trying
to
to get
third.
back to that 37.
He is the battle for the. Oh, I thought
Wait,
that.
did he? I thought they were going to wreck each other.
I did too, and then the 56 kind of bleaked out on my screen. I'm certain he did yours too.
Yeah, he's blinking out bad.
I think race control needs to take a look at that and.
Yeah, I can't even see where the 56 is most of the time.
Yeah, and if you're Alan Carter, right, this has got to be nerve-wracking to witness in your mirror because you just don't know.
You don't know where they're going to make the move at all.
We are under 10 laps to go. In fact, we have 9 to go. We're going to have 8 laps to go when we hit the start-finish line, Bryce. Right now, I was going to say, it looked like maybe the 56 had that issue cleared up for a little bit of time.
Yeah, he's still doing it decently bad on my end, but we'll see how it goes for him now because he is still dealing with that.
So as that battle goes on, I want to get back here and take a look at this battle. This battle has Russ Martin Jr., it has Andrew Teft, it has Merriman, it has Danny Jackson.
And the only thing that I could see hurting Carter here is if a caution comes out and where he doesn't know where this 56 is, maybe the 56 is able to get a big jump on the restart on him, and he doesn't expect it. That's a possibility for him.
Once Carter hits the start-finish line, it'll be 5 laps to go. You can see every now and again the 56 right there in tow of the 37.
Still dealing with that blinking issue again.
Yeah, the 56 is staying in tow, but he still has that issue. 4 laps to go, Bryce. It looks like he's better in turns 1 and 2 is Mike Taylor. Andrew Teft going to be battling for the 3rd position. Here comes Andrew.
It looks like that 56, so he's dropping back slowly, so I don't think he's got a chance, making a move on that 37 right now, unless the 37 absolutely just bobbles it getting in the corner and causes almost a wreck or close to a wreck. I just don't see it happening for him.
Teft was able to get around Truth Hoke to move him into 3rd. There's going to be 2 laps to go. Right now, the battle for the race lead is Alan Carter, Mike Taylor. Much like you said, Bryce, barring any major disaster, it can strike quickly, but he wants to get around here and he wants to take the white flag. In fact, he does. White flag is out. 1 lap to go here with the Mazda MX-5s at Martinsville. Just don't think that Taylor's going to have enough time. He's going to have to do it in 1 more set of corners.
Yeah, I mean, they could maybe throw a Hail Mary here. I just don't think he's going to be able to get to him. Yeah, he's got no. Oh, hold on. That 37 almost threw it away there. Got up on the curb, and looks like it will be Carter who takes it. He almost threw it away that last corner, hit the curb, and that could have spun him around easily.
Those guys just having fun. Yeah, so Carter's
going to be after the game.
It's like he's just going to bring it down pit road.
Looks like he's going to call it a day for him. So that definitely got weird there towards the end. That was really awkward.
We can see the results on the screen. Alan Carter will pick up the W here tonight. Mike Taylor, Andrew Teft, Truth Hoke, Danny Jackson, Sean Merriman, Russ Martin Jr., Jesse Fox, Barry Nelson, Troy Thomas, Timothy Eisbrun, Austin Norris, Alan Burgeon, Kinsley Smith, Terry Fennell. We'll see. We can get any of these guys up here. Andrew, it's Brandon and Bryce in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
So wow, what a wild, fun, entertaining night, right? I mean, it was definitely interesting for me and Bryce. I can tell you for sure. At one point in time, you found the race lead, and then you also found kind of a mishap and had to work your way back through to lock up a third here tonight.
Yeah, I couldn't believe nobody hit me there. Those guys did a really good job of avoiding us when we were sitting in the middle of the track. Yeah, I took tires there at the end and was able to cut through the field a little bit. The lefts were still a little bit old, but I don't know. It seems like those guys had stayed out for a while up front, so had a little bit of a rubber advantage there at the end. Able to at least make something out of it.
So what? Overall, what's your takeaway from running these MX-5s here at Martinsville?
I think I'm still figuring them out. First, I wasn't shifting at all, and I was really, really slow. So I was like, I guess I got to try something. And I started using second. But downshifting's real finicky. If you don't hit it just right, it'll whip you right around like you saw with me. So yeah, that was just a downshift gone wrong. Did it at the wrong time or too quickly or whatever. But I don't know if you got to be at a certain speed with these or certain RPM to get it to downshift, but sometimes you want it to and it won't, and might have to juice the gas a little bit or something.
Well, listen, nonetheless, it was an entertaining night here in the booth. I can tell you, man, I know you got some sponsors and some people you'd like to thank, man. So give those shout outs and talk about what seasons we have or series getting ready to start up. I know we got a couple.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've got three brand new seasons starting next week. Truck 600 Next Gen, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So you can check us back out. Those days at the same, well, not the same time. We're at 9 o'clock tonight, but normal time is 7:45 during the week. Schedules, standings, the whole 9 yards. Discord invites. It's all on racerselite.com.
All right, man. Well, listen, any other shout outs you want to give to anybody before we let you go?
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations to Alan. He ran a really good race there, and I want to thank our servicemen and women, you guys, for helping out in the booth. Everybody that tunes in to watch, shows up to race, friends, family, team, and if you don't mind doing us a favor, hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel homepage. We're trying to get to 1,000, so everybody helps.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations on that third place run, and we'll see you sometime next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bryce, now that was the third place finisher and Andrew Teft, and quite an interesting night, kind of up and down for him as the race went on.
Yeah, he was basically, he had the lead and then he spun himself out from the lead. So he's probably got to be mad at himself a little bit, but that was just awkward. He qualified. What did he qualify? He qualified fifth. He comes home third. So it wasn't a bad night overall, though, for him. I will say that.
Bryce, I'm going to bring Mike up here, and I'll let you take this one. Mike, it's Brandon and Bryce in the booth. You got a copy?
I sure do, Brandon. How you doing?
We're doing good here. I'm going to turn this one over to Bryce and let him take care of this one.
Man, so you come home second, you fall just a little bit short, but how did the race go for you overall, though? Because it seemed like you were up front most of the night, and then that caution kind of threw everything for a loop there in the middle of that pit cycle.
Yeah, this number 56 White Tiger Motorsports Mazda finally pulled it out of the barn after about 5 years, and so this is my first night actually running at Martinsville in this car. So being as fast as I was actually very surprising. Early on in that run, I fell back to like fourth or fifth, and I was just content. And as soon as I got back up second, I went down pit road and got my right side tires, and that caution came out, and I was like, you know what, I'm ready to luck it out. I got to be in the back anyway. Let me go and pit, and I'll get my left sides. And then just that second to last caution, I started having internet issues or something. I started blinking, as just everybody saw. Um, Very unfortunate there. I really wanted to run Alan hard there the last 10 laps or so, but I didn't want to chance it. So I just rode back behind him, just praying that he made a mistake and I can get around him cleanly. But Alan was wicked fast all race long. I was also worried about Jesse Fox in that number 69 machine. He was absolutely fast as well. So it was a good, strong day for me, and I'm happy, and I'm finally glad I can, you know, bump elbows with these group of guys here, and hopefully I can do it a little bit more often.
So how was it with these cars, getting down into the corner? Because it seemed like you guys were having to counter steer just a little bit getting in. And some guys overcorrected, others didn't. But it seemed like it was definitely difficult for some people to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. Getting down to the corners, I started watching Allen in practice because he was wicked fast, and needed to get like a 10th on him in practice. And so I was watching, and man, he was braking at the last second, last possible second. So you're going, and you slam on the brake, car gets a little swirly, and then you downshift, and the car's like, hey, now I'm really gonna get loose, and you're just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But I mean, just it was absolutely chaotic every single corner. So I mean, running 300 corners, almost last second slipping and sliding. It was a lot of fun, but man, it messes with you.
It definitely seemed like these cars were a handful in the middle. It was just, it was interesting there. But, so what was going through your head there, the last 5 laps? Because you got really close to Carter there, but you just weren't able to make a pass on him.
Yeah, like I said, that second to last caution, they were letting me know I started blinking more, and I kept looking over at the stream, to see what you guys saw, and I wanted to really get to him, and possibly put a little bumper to him, but with the way I was blinking and everything, I decided not to, and like I said, I was just praying that he was going to make a mistake, but he never did. So, he was fast, but I don't think I would have had anything for him though.
All right, man. Well, before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank, any sponsors you want to shout out that may have been watching our stream here tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give a big shout out over to Epic Fails Motorsports. They're running the 24 hours of Le Mans this weekend in Crevatech. I want to give a big, huge shout out to Andrew for allowing me to come, run with them here in Racers Elite. They thank Alan and everybody, running nice and clean up front was a lot of fun. And most importantly, I want to thank my wife, my 2 little boys, my girls, my grandson, my mom, everybody that supports me doing all this. And, I just want to thank everybody. So, yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you go. Good job coming home second tonight, man.
I appreciate it, Bryce. Brandon, you guys have a great evening.
You too, bud.
That was Mike. That was Mike Taylor, the second place driver. We'll bring in the race winner, Alan Carter, and Brandon, I will let you handle this one. Hey, Alan, this is Bryce and Brandon in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, listen, you just bad fast, right? I mean, I watched you in practice. I believe you were fastest overall in practice, and then you kind of rode there for the first several laps. You had Kinsley Smith out front at one point, just kind of rode and just waited for the opportunity. And then once you got out front there, you was able to kind of maintain just a little bit. And we had some late race cautions that tried to shake some things up. But all in all, you was able to bring this thing home pretty much in one piece and find victory lane.
Yeah, man, it was a good time. I rode, like you said, I rode for the first little bit of the race, and then they started getting a little bit of a gap on me. Started putting some distance there, so I was like, I had to pick the pace up a little bit, and just trying to take care of the tires because I didn't know how well they were going to last for the whole run. Didn't know how the cautions were going to fly too, so that was a big thing. Unfortunately, when I did pit, I was hoping for a caution there about 4 laps before it came out there after that long run. but it just didn't. It just didn't happen, and then it happened right after I pitted, so it put me. It said I was a lap down, but then I guess once everything cycled through, it was good, and we started off at P7, rolled off there, and tried to follow Mike through there, but I I got stuck behind the 91 on the top, and I just couldn't make any ground. Luckily, the cautions come out, and I was able to make up some ground there.
Yeah, so take us through that green flag cycle that we had that had that untimely caution that did trap you. It was you and Jesse and Mike kind of caught you all a lap down. Take us through that, because we cautions breed cautions, right? So what's the mindset at that point? Is it just patience and just hoping that the cautions come, or just knowing that they will and just still be patient?
Well, so that was the thing. You didn't really know how they were going to fall, because if it happened in the back and everybody wasn't stacked up or we got spread out, the cautions really didn't fly too quickly. So you didn't really know how it was going to play out. I mean, I would be telling you a lie if I would said that I was staying calm, because I wasn't. I was a little upset whenever all that played out. And for some reason, it waited until we got the 1 to green to tell me to pass the pace truck or whatever. And by that time, I was coming down the back straightaway and they were taking the green flag. So luckily, there was a caution immediately after that really saved me, to be honest with you. If that caution hadn't come out, I probably would have wrecked myself trying to get back up there. But yeah, I mean, that long run, I was just trying to make sure I didn't mess up and overdrive the car and stuff like that. But I mean, luckily I was able to keep it under me. There was a couple times I made a few mistakes and was able to gather it up quickly. But other than that, I mean, it was just making sure you hit your marks every single lap, and it's very tough to do there in those cars when you have to shift them.
Yeah, so talking about overdriving the car, just exactly how difficult was it to not do that, but how easy is it to overdrive the car?
Okay, so well, getting down into the corner, I'll use 4 for example, because 4 seemed to be the problem mostly for me. I could never get it perfect, but a handful of times. Um, if you drive in a half a car deeper or missed the point to where you needed to downshift, it could upset the car drastically. There'd be sometimes you could drive it in there, hit your downshift just right, get the car rolling, apex it just right, and drive off the corner. And then there were some laps you could go in and hit the same mark, but miss your downshift, and the car would be super tight on exit, and you'd have to kind of back out the throttle and try to keep it up off the wall. And then there was other times where you would get down in there and hit the downshift just a bit too early, and the car would low down too much, and you'd be up on top of the curb. So there was a really, really fine line to make that happen and make it work. Mike was doing a really good job when he was in front of me of being able to do that. And he was having some connectivity issues. I don't know how it would have played out if he wouldn't have had those, because he could have been more aggressive if it wouldn't have happened. But at the same time, it was, like I said, it was that fine line. You can get down in there and just miss your marks and wash up the track and leave the door open. And that was really easy to do. That was one of the things I just kept telling myself not to do.
Well, you had 150 laps to master it, and you did exactly that, man. And you was able to bring it home, bring that machine home in one piece and with a win. So I'm certain you have maybe some shout outs and some people you'd like to thank for tonight's win, man. So go ahead and shout everybody out.
Yeah. And Terry was helping me out in practice. We were working together along with Tim, and we were making some ground up, and they both just had some bad luck starting deep in the field. Didn't really get good runs, but Tim stayed with me after his race pretty much ended. He was trying to keep me calm throughout, trying to watch the replay mode and stuff, and keep me calm making sure I hit my marks and things like that. So I gotta thank him for that, because if it wasn't for him doing that, I probably would have overdrove the car a lot there at the end. So I appreciate Andrew and all his group that puts this stuff on. It's a good time and we have fun doing it.
Well, listen, congratulations, man, on that victory, and we hope to see you again soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Bryce, that was our race winner in Alan Carter, and he did exactly what he needed to do and had 150 laps to perfect it, and ultimately got the job done.
Early on, it was a little bit rough, and I think these guys I don't even think they're completely adapted to these cars yet with just the downshifting, but he was able to, on board, he seemed to be the one guy who wasn't overcorrecting more than anybody else. I think that he got the shifting a lot more than other people. I think that's what kind of made the difference for him there at the end.
Well, overall, it was a wild and entertaining type of night, something that I've never seen. Being the Mazda MX-5s at Martinsville. So I think that's it for us, Bryce. We get a call tonight, and I get to do this all over again next Thursday when the next gen season starts up. And yeah, I think tonight was wild.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was. It was definitely interesting for sure, from my end at least.
Everybody out there, go hit that subscribe button on Racers Elite Network. If you are interested in joining Racers Elite, you can find all the information over on racerselite.com. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful Friday night. Enjoy your weekend, and remember to be safe. And we'll see everybody right back here on the Racers Elite Network. Good night, everybody.